Hey, what's going on today?
Hi.
How you doing? How you doing? This is your host, Dr. Billz.
And Kina, how are you guys?
How's it going? How's it going, everybody? Hope you guys are having a wonderful holiday season.
Well, I mean, how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderfully well, I guess. I don't know.
Wonderfully
Having a
well.
good day, good time. Was
Good.
watching Home Alone.
I
Came up with an idea about home wreckers. Oh, controversial.
like the topic.
You like the topic of home wreckers?
I do. Let's do it.
Why do you find it so interesting?
I want to know what's going on in their head when they think that they're going to go after somebody that's taken.
What's going on in the head is me, 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 and me.
Yeah, but that's also like for single people in general. Everyone's me, 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 me.
No, they want what they want though,
So why somebody taken?
because they can't have them.
Okay, first off, this podcast is all about controversy and it's all about talking about things that no one wants to talk about. Just a warning to everyone that's watching this.
You
So
guys got the disclaimer. This is all about controversy. This is why it's called the anti-bakwas podcast. We are all about anti-bakwas. We gonna talk about everything and anything that none of y'all probably want to talk about or might want to listen to about it because you just can't talk about it because whatever the personal reasons may be. But we are not binded by anything, and we are here to talk about it. We are all about it. So today we're gonna talk about home wreckers. People that can't leave their exes alone, people that find out people are married and still want them, or not even married, just they just can't see a couple in a happy relationship be happy with each other. They just want to be that kebab mein hardi. You ever experienced that, Kina?
of course I have.
What do you mean? You ain't even think about the
Of
answer.
course I
You
have.
just like, oh, I was waiting for you to ask me that question. what you mean? What you
I
mean?
mean, I've experienced it on a personal level. I've experienced it even through my friends, so I can
Right.
talk about it from both, I guess, angles. I've seen people go through it where it's either they're in a new relationship and then either party has the ex still whispering in their ear for some reason, and I feel like that's the people that are in the relationship. That's a them problem too. Forget
Right.
the homewrecker.
Right.
It's a them problem. Like, why are you still in touch with your ex?
Right.
Don't be in a relationship if you're still in touch with your ex. If you think that you still want to be in
But
touch
they
with
just
your
want to be
ex,
friends.
there's no such thing. You
What do
cannot.
you mean?
No, no, no.
Girls always say it's okay to be
Guys
friends
do
with your
too.
exes.
I mean, I know girls say it
No,
more, but
no, no. First of all, I think you and I can establish a guy and a girl can't be just friends, especially if they have had a romantic relationship.
I feel like if you've had a romantic relationship, no, you cannot. I feel like
Right.
there's just, and even if, let's say you claim right, left, and center, you swear on the Quran, the Bible, the Torah, whatever you want to swear on, that you say, oh, we're just friends. I feel like there's always going to be some kind of inkling of emotion there. So it's not healthy.
Definitely
So
not
so
healthy.
so just avoid it. Like, why are you gonna go where you know that you shouldn't go? Just
But what,
avoid
what
it.
what do you say to the women that, okay, for example, as me as a man, if I had one of my exes and I wanted to be friends with her and just friends strictly.
Okay, what's your definition of a friend? Because there's a difference between being cordial and there's a difference between just
No,
being
we're
a
talking
friend.
about friends. We're not talking about high and by cordial. If I see you when I see you,
So
high
you're
by.
talking about meeting up with your friend for
Being in
like,
contact, constant contact, like constant contact
but is
meaning.
there a need for it?
I mean, they're your friend. Aren't you in contact with you? Let's say your female friends, your girlfriends. So you contact them every other day, right? So if that's my friend
Hmm.
and my friend wants to contact me, you know,
But if you're in a relationship, do you think that's healthy? And is your partner
no,
cool with
me
it?
personally, I don't think that's healthy at all. But I'm going to with the premise of when women say you're insecure. When a woman was to tell me, "Hey, XYZ is my boy, just my boy,"
Mm,
in my head, I'm a man,
yeah.
right? I'm like, no way, that's just your boy, right?
Mm,
For the most part,
mm,
right? But now, if there's an added dynamic of me knowing
mm,
that you had been romantically or physically involved with X, Y,
mm,
and Z,
mm,
and now you're just friends,
mm.
and I take exception to that.
Yeah.
I'm insecure,
Supposedly, yeah.
right?
So, but see, again, I'm agreeing with all that, but I don't know how they manage to do it. Like, especially girls that pride themselves on being friends with their exes, or even men. All right. Let's say if they're in a relationship, and I know, again, it's more females than males that do this, but the men that do it will also say the same thing to their significant other of, oh, she's just a friend, she's just a coworker, whatever it is. Don't be insecure about it.
Right,
I really feel like first the two people in the relationship need to be secure within themselves because outsiders are always going to try to come in.
right,
So if you, let's say, I have a guy friend that I've known for God knows how long. Me personally, any friend that I've had of the opposite gender, from a very young age, I've always had very clear boundaries. There's just certain things that I knew that I didn't want to cross. So there's nothing like, oh my God, my friend likes me. And no, 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 no. Whether my friend likes me or not is beyond my business. At the end of the day, it's a man and a woman. Feelings may or may not happen. I don't want to know.
Right.
So I have made it very clear to all of them, like, look, like even as far as like I get a lot of friends be hugging each other and shit. I don't do that.
Right.
At the most, I'll high five. Maybe I'll do like the Christian side hug.
Right.
I'll do one of those if
Right.
anything. There's very rare where I'm like beyond that I'm not going anywhere. So I feel like if you have clear cut boundaries from the start, you can remain friends. And I feel like your significant other will actually be very secure and hell even they may want to be friends with that person.
Okay.
And I feel like that is actually healthy.
But here's my question to you now.
Look,
Why do women, the women gender,
mm-hmm.
tend to always, for the most part, of that I've seen, be attracted to a man
Who's taken?
who's married? Forget about taken.
Mm-hmm.
Who's married? What's up with that one?
There's just something
I
wrong
mean, I
with
want to
them.
know from the woman brain,
Well,
what
the
is the
problem is
dynamic
that
behind
this
thinking like
woman
that?
brain doesn't think that way, right? So my thing is, I've seen people go through it. Like I said, I've personally experienced it, and I've seen others go through it, and I've seen it where it has come to the point of people have gotten divorced over this. Those that are married have gotten divorced over the fact that there was another woman.
Right. Or a guy. Or
Sadly,
a
it's more
guy.
women that I've seen the cases with. I've always seen more cases where another woman broke up a happy marriage because the guy also when the relationship is fucking stupid and he let that happen. So it's sadly
Is he
more.
fucking stupid, or is it that woman just pressuring him?
No, I feel like the guy is stupid. If my thing is you want to be with someone else, go be with someone else. Don't do that. Like, end the relationship.
Right.
There's no need to be in a relationship with someone, put them under all of that mental, emotional stress, trauma, whatever you want to label it as, and then leave them. Just leave them and go be with the other person.
But we can't do that.
Why
He's
not?
a provider. He's a husband. He's putting the roof over the head, right?
So,
So I can't make that. Let's say a woman. I'm not a woman, but I'm hypothetically speaking. I can't make that conscious decision of leaving my husband,
uh-huh.
right? The one that's the provider, the one that's the protector, the one that's putting food on the table, the one that's putting a roof over our head. I'm not gonna fully want to detach from him
Hmm.
until I see a promise with the other guy, right? Like in the sense like I could see him being my protector and he wants to be my protector and provider. That's when a woman would leave. But until then, she's not gonna leave because why would she ruin, in my opinion, security for lust?
Well, the thing is, I get that. Like culturally, I think we've seen that a lot. I don't know within our generation. I think our generation is very quick to be like, right, fuck you, I'm out. For the most part, there are
Right.
some exceptions. I feel like our parents' generation did that a lot, where even if the husband, since most of the moms, not all, most of the moms were homemakers. So I feel like if the husband was stepping out, they didn't say anything. They were told to have patience and just accept it and pray and everything will be okay. And they were guilted into staying in the marriage if they had kids. Like, no, you have kids, you can't leave him, this, that, whatnot. There was a lot of guilt and emotional blackmail associated with that. So that's why they stayed.
Right.
They were not trying to find another provider because they had nothing else to offer, unfortunately.
Right.
They were always conditioned to
But
be
we're
like,
talking about today's world, today's
well, no, I'm
generation.
talking about that. Like that, the scenario you just mentioned, I feel like that is more of a parental generation thing. For us now, there's so many women now that really, for the most part, they don't really need the guy to provide. There's so many single moms. Let's say if they have kids, they're single moms. They will find a babysitter. They will find a job. They will take care of their own, those that want to. But then, yeah, then you have the other ones that'll be like, okay, he's cheating on me. I'm going to do it back to him. Let me go out and do my thing.
Right.
So it really depends on the way that they're thinking and their mindset. I feel like the healthier mindset is if you have children, especially, or even if you don't, if you have to leave a relationship, especially a marriage, just leave. Don't worry about, oh, I don't have a fallback plan. I don't have this. I don't have that. If you are being cheated on, if you are being emotionally manipulated, if something is happening, just separate yourself from the situation.
Right.
You don't
But
need a plan
a
B.
lot of times the home wrecker card comes in because like you mentioned earlier, there's some kind of ex lingering around.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's say I date a woman, right? I date this woman and I'm madly in love with her. She's madly in love with me, right? And then we don't end up getting married for, let's say, for lack of better words in the brown culture, we're not each other's status quo,
Okay.
family wise, right?
Okay.
So, with that being said, now the man goes and gets married, right?
Okay. Let's say you got married to the
Let's say
same person
no,
or
I
someone
went and got
else.
married. Let's just say I went and
Okay.
got married. I got my roof over my head. I'm doing what a
Hmm.
husband's supposed to do. Let's say I have a child, I'm doing what a father's supposed to do. I'm a good husband, a good
Mhm.
father,
Mhm.
ideal candidate to be labeled a husband. Now, I'm happy with my wife,
Mhm.
but now my ex sees all of this.
And she's a bitter troll.
that came It sounded like that came from somewhere deep within bitter troll. Who we talking about? But anyhow, now let's say my ex sees this, and for a lack of understanding, let's say I do have some kind of contact with her.
Okay, why would you have contact with
Social
her?
media.
Why?
I personally don't contact her, but she sees my social
Why
media,
is she on your
or she
social?
sees my wife's social, because my wife, let's say, knows that this is my damn ex. My wife is gonna be interested in.
No, no,
Hold on,
no.
my wife. Let me finish. My wife is gonna be interested in. Oh, this is Bilal's ex.
See, that's the
She
thing.
wants to add me. Let me
No.
hold on. Let me see why she wants to add me. Not let me see why she wants to add me. I think in the brain of a woman, what's going on is, oh, this bitch is my man's ex. She want to follow me. I'm gonna follow her ass just to keep tabs.
Yeah, no. Um, I would say I'm trying to keep the mindset healthy, right? From a healthy mindset of a man or a woman. I feel like everyone is very visual when it comes to this kind of shit. Uh, Personally, a person with a healthy mindset does not want to know what the ex looks like. You can know a name, you can know the longevity of the relationship. Hell, you can even know certain details, right? I don't think putting a picture to that is healthy.
I disagree
That
with that.
no, but thing
No,
is,
no, no, not healthy, but I disagree that a woman won't. Once a woman knows a name, she always wants to put a face to that
I'm
name.
talking healthy mindset. I'm not talking in
Even in a healthy mindset, because your mind is gonna fuck with you a little
no,
bit.
no, no,
She's
no,
gonna
no,
be like,
no,
"Oh, okay."
no, no.
So let's just say, for argument's sake,
Mm,
my wife finds out my ex's name is, I don't know,
Bushra.
Anam,
Okay.
right? Now my ex is gonna want to know who is this Anam that had my
But
man
why would she want
captivated.
to know?
It's a woman's brain. You tell me.
No, but that's the thing. It's not. I am a woman. I am telling you. I'm
You're
talking.
an exception at times, okay? You're an exception at times. You think like a man at times.
I don't think like a man. I feel like men have a toxic mindset, and it's
We don't have a toxic
you
mind.
do.
Let me explain
You do.
something to you. A man leaves the house. A man goes works 12 hours, 14 hours a
So
day.
does a woman.
Hold on. Yes, absolutely. But with no preconceived notion that I am the provider. It's the man that has the preconceived notion
Yeah.
that as a woman, you're like, my man is my provider. My man is the husband. My man needs to be making money.
Okay.
Right? So I'm out of the house for 12, 14 hours a day. I'm fighting with the world. I'm arguing with the world. I'm dealing with this bullshit, that bullshit, and that bullshit. And when
It's
I
not
walk into,
jihad. It's a corporate job.
it's not jihad, but you got to understand, just because it's not physically taxing,
Oh no, mentally it's
mentally
exhausting. I
it
know.
can destroy you.
Yeah, I
So
know.
now I go and do all of this and I come back home,
Yeah.
right? I don't need that extra shit,
No, you don't. No
right?
one does.
But in a woman's mindset, when she has the time of day, and now let's say I'm that husband and I'm supposed to get out of work at 6, but now it's 9:30,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still at work.
Okay.
Those 3.5 hours, you're not thinking I'm at work. For
Why
the
not?
most part, maybe the first one or two times, the third time you're thinking, why the fuck this nigga at work till 9:30 every day? Who are you talking to? Oh, his ex decided to follow me.
But
Let me see what she's up to.
that's the thing. See, unfortunately, I feel like the main thing is you and your significant other need to have a solid foundation. If you do, and again, no relationship is perfect. You are gonna have days where even though you're both solid, you're gonna have days where you want to strangle her, she wants to strangle you. You both can't stand each other, but you know what? That's also healthy because as long as you both tell that to one another, like I fucking hate you, and he'll look at you or you'll look at her and be like, all right, fucking hate you too. But then you're both are gonna sit down, grab a cup of coffee, put on a comedy movie, and you'll be fine. It's healthy to dislike each other
Okay,
at times.
but
But no, no, then the ex. I'm talking about the ex
yes,
now.
we're about to
Okay,
talk about the ex. We're about to talk about that. I'm gonna piggyback off what you just said.
go
With
for it.
what you just said, yes, it's healthy to talk about it, have arguments, and say to each other, "I hate you." But there comes a time, back to my point of being out for 12 hours, when I come home, I don't want to come home to that bullshit, right? Now, if I have to come home to that bullshit constantly, let's say once a week or twice a week, right? Where you're telling me you hate me and you tell me that I ain't cook shit, you tell me that fuck you, you
Mm.
know, all that toxicity. Now, I'm gonna relate it to a home wrecker now, right? Now, let's say that home wrecker is my ex, right?
But wait, how are
Hold
you
on,
relating it to the homewrecker?
I'm about to.
Okay, go.
My ex is trying to contact me,
Okay.
right? First couple of times I don't contact her. First 10 times I don't reply to her. I block her, whatever. But eventually, because all the shit you're putting me through, here along comes Polly, my ex, Anam, right? Let's just
Okay.
say Anam comes along, and Anam's just sweet word in my ears, making me feel comfortable, not yelling at me,
Okay.
telling me what you gotta tell me,
Okay, no,
listening
no.
to
So,
me,
so no,
being
no,
that,
no, no.
being that
Wait, wait,
shoulder,
wait, wait, wait,
being
wait,
that
wait, wait, wait.
ear,
So you are basic.
bringing me
No,
lunch, and bringing me
no, no,
lunch
no, no,
at
no.
times.
So you, my friend, are now talking about cheating.
I'm not talking about
That
cheating.
is cheating.
No, I'm not. Hold on. That is not cheating.
That's cheating.
No.
If another woman is feeding you,
No, no,
that's
we're not
cheating.
talking about feeding. We're not talking about feeding. But I'm just saying it gradually gets to that point, right? My whole point in all of this is if, back to your point, if you keep a solid foundation in your house.
Yep.
Now, I'm a big believer that no matter what relationship it is, if the moment you start disrespecting in that relationship, you start to lose a little bit of that relationship. Because if you
Yeah.
could disrespect me once, let's say I am the man. Let's say we both make money, but as the king of the house, you're the queen of the house. As the king of the house, I don't want to be disrespected. And at times, when you're angry, you don't know what you might be saying that might be disrespectful to the other person. So now we're teetering the lines of disrespect. Now, the moment you start disrespecting me, let's say I disrespect you back, a little bit of a love is lost. That 100% just turned to 99%, right? Second time, because you disrespected me the first time, this time you might disrespect me
More.
more.
Yep.
And I might disrespect you more.
Yep.
Now let's say we're not headed towards that route of breaking up, but because now you have been disrespecting me as my queen, or I have been disrespecting you as your king, right? Let's just leave it at that. A little bit of that love is being lost. And if there's no respect in any, whether it's a friendship, male to male, woman to woman, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, the
Anything,
child,
yeah.
nephew, niece, mom, dad, if there's no respect in
Yeah.
that relationship,
Yeah.
that relationship is going to cease to exist at some point or another. It's a ticking time bomb. So now, back to the home record part. Now, if I feel like I'm being disrespected by my wife, I might not respond to my ex the first 55,000 times, let's just say. But when it's unbearable, man or woman, when it starts becoming unbearable and I'm like, yo, this person has no fucking respect for me, I bust my ass so much just to put a smile on my partner's face, but all they want to do is disrespect me, constantly nag me. To them, that's their form of communicating because, hey, I'm allowed to talk to you like this because you're my significant other. Yes, you're allowed to communicate with me, but you're not allowed to disrespect me as your partner. So when I feel like I'm being disrespected, and one day or another I'm out with the homies, and I just had a fight with the wifey, and here comes Polly out of nowhere. Oh my God, what are you doing here? And you just start having a conversation. Your guy or your girl might not want to do anything, but that alone is going to bridge you out to a new conversation down the road. What you're doing with the constant nagging and the constant BSing is actually adding to you heading towards possibly a homewrecker situation.
Okay, but to that point, that what you're giving me is a classical example of how cheating happens and how relationships break. That's the classic example.
Right.
What I'm talking about is when you and your partner are good with each other.
Right.
Like you're just doing you.
Right.
You're in your own world. You're not bothering anybody. You're not being problematic. You're just living your life. But outsiders are so fucking miserable in their own life, even though they may even be living a better life than you. But for some reason, they see something in you that they don't have. No matter
Yeah, their
how.
husband.
No.
Oh, I mean,
Even
your
if-
husband, not their husband. Your husband.
But the thing is, they'll be in relationships. They will have, like I said, they will probably be living a better life than you. All right. But like what makes me happy may not make them happy and vice versa. Right. So the life I'm living, I'm very happy with.
Right.
But because they dislike that, and no matter how happy they are in their life, that miserable thing that they have
It's
in
called
them,
regret.
whatever it
It's
may
called
be called.
regret because you're the epitome of a woman that your husband or their ex decided to marry. So they're like, he decided to marry her. I was with him. That's regret in me. Like that should have been me.
But the thing is,
But they chose to not marry them.
but
or
they chose to not
be with
But
them.
the thing is, they're also in relationships. That's
We're
the
not-
thing.
No, we're not talking about anybody individually. We're just
No, I'm talking about
hypothetically.
people that are in relationships that still want to eyeball other people's relationships. Those types of homewreckers.
But those are the people that are always keeping their options wide open. They will never be content
No.
with
Yeah.
themselves and the relationship
Hmm.
aspect of their life, because there are people that just cannot say this person is good enough for me.
Yeah.
What they do is, this person is good enough for me for the moment,
Hmm.
while they're out there looking for something always better.
Wait.
When you're continuously looking for something better, when you're in a relationship,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about in a marriage, when you're in a relationship, when you continuously look for something better,
Hmm.
you always end up with something worse. And the
Okay.
moment they end up with something worse, and that something better that was in their life has now gone to be better for somebody else in their life, that's when the regret kicks
Hmm.
in. And that's when the I don't give a shit mentality comes in. I'm gonna talk to this guy. I know this guy. Why I can't be friends with
Okay.
this
But
guy? I dated this guy.
here's another point to add to that. It's another twist on the homewrecker scenario. When you have someone that's trying to not necessarily creep in like the normal classic way that we just spoke about, when they target someone, like let's say if you're married, you're fine, you're happy with your wife, but then one of your exes, any one of them, decides to constantly throw jabs at your wife who does not know your ex at all. There's no connection, no rhyme or reason, no nothing. And your wife comes to you and it's like, yo, this is happening. Why is this happening? And you tell your wife, you know what? Ignore it. It doesn't matter. Fine. But it continues to happen and continues to happen, continues to happen. What ends up happening? You have this happy, loving wife who gets affected mentally, who gets affected emotionally, who is like, I want to rock this person's shit. I'm not allowed to because I'm being portrayed as the aggressor, even though this person's coming for me. But I also want to respect my husband and not do anything because my husband is reassuring me that we're okay and everything is fine and I need to ignore it. That's the type of home wrecking I've seen a lot of
You
now.
ever heard of the line "misery loves company"?
Yeah, but once
That's
again,
misery right there. That wants company. They
but
want to have
doesn't
tea together.
But once again, what do you do in that? Because this is like the new age home wrecking where they try to kind of, like waterboard one person. Like they're not coming at you, even though that's your ex. They're coming at your spouse who has no connection with them whatsoever. And literally making this person feel like they're losing their mind over the overthinking and the
But you gotta
analyzing.
understand, a lot of people in today's world are warriors behind a keyboard, men and
No, no,
women,
but
right?
what would end up happening? So this is I'm trying to go back to your idea of the wife nagging and whatnot. So when your wife is going through this and she tries her best to put up a strong front to be okay and to not let it bother her, eventually she's gonna break. She's only human. So then what do you do? Because
What do you do?
that's
You
also
guys
a
listen.
sense
You
of
tell us what you do, right? Got people listening. We talking about homewreckers. Y'all heard what
I forgot there was anybody listening.
y'all heard what Kina had to say. I mean, it's your boy Dr. Billz over here. Y'all heard what I had to say. Well, what do y'all gotta say? Y'all gotta let us know which side you are in agreement with. When you got a homewrecker situation, right? I'm pretty sure ladies out there, they experience that on a regular when they get with a man. But hey, we are the product of our decisions,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
One decision leads to another, to another. Remember, there's always an action for a reaction for
For
an
an
action.
action. Yeah.
So the decision you do is an action. The reaction you get is that
But wait, what do you do when the friends are also becoming the homewreckers?
they ain't your friends, bro.
Well, obviously they're not your
They're
friends.
not your friends,
Okay,
bro.
friends. When the friends that you thought were happy for you in your relationship start attacking your significant other. Those are also a type of homewrecker. It's not always an ex. It could be an ex, and it can also be
No,
people you
but
thought were friends.
those kind of homewreckers shouldn't even be equation in your brain, because at the end of the day, they just your friends. If there's no romantic interest that you had with any one of them, so it's not malicious in that intent. So you should off the bat know, oh, like for example, I got every one of my friends are married, right? I know your husband. That's how I met you. Like, amazing people, right? So majority, 99% of my friends are married with spouses. Now, tell me how many of them take heed to anything a friend has to say about the relationship. They don't, because like you said maybe 15 minutes ago, that as long as the foundation between you and your husband is strong, no power shall prosper, right? Including your friends. And if those friends of yours are trying, friends, we put it in
Friends.
quotations,
Yes.
those friends of yours, if they're talking, for example, let's say I have a group of 10 friends, they're married, now I go get a wife, any one of those will attack my wife, you're X'd out of my goddamn equation. Simple. Especially if it's for non. Actually, there's no reason
There's
you
no
should be
reason.
attacking my wife. Forget about what the fucking reason is. I've never attacked your wife.
Mm-hmm.
I've never badmouthed your wife. I've never said nothing wrong about what your wife. Who the fuck are you to tell me anything about my wife? What my wife and I have going on or will have going on is between my wife and
Mm-hmm.
I. So if any friend tries to negate that, you need to immediately erase them out of your life because that's not your friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have friends, right? No puns to nobody. If you guys get to see this, I have these friends, right? And constantly throughout the years, everybody, not the girls, not everybody, the girls would be like,
It's always the females.
Billy, when you get married,
Mm.
Billz, when you get married, Billz, when you get married, cool. Here's the follow up. All right, make sure you get married to somebody we like.
Oh.
And you know what my response is always? I'm like, excuse me, what? Make
Mm-hmm.
sure I get married to somebody y'all like.
Mm-hmm.
How about this? Make sure y'all like who I get married to.
Exactly.
If y'all want me in your life, because that's my wife. I'm gonna be marrying her. I'm not telling you how to behave with your husband or your husband to behave with you.
Mm.
I love you guys, I enjoy you guys, I have a good time with you guys. But when it comes to marital issues, I'm never a part of that conversation because I don't want to be part of that conversation.
Yeah.
So please, if you're gonna tell me to marry somebody y'all like, make sure y'all like who I marry. That's the only way you'll have me in your life. If I'm important enough to them,
Mm.
whoever they may be, right? Whatever group of friends that may be, if I'm important enough to that group of friends, they'll make sure that at least in the beginning, they'll be welcoming to my significant other.
Mm-hmm.
Down the road, we don't know what the fuck can happen because women are women, men are men, right?
Mm-hmm.
Women can be cat fighting each other, which will cause relations to break up with men. I've seen that too,
Yeah, I've seen
right? And men can be arguing with each other.
I've
You
seen
know
it.
what's the crazy part is? I've hardly seen when men have a problem with each other,
Yeah.
men will stop talking, right?
Yeah.
When women have a problem with each other, women will stop talking. But I've hardly seen when women have a problem with each other that the men have to stop talking to the woman and the husband, right? But I've hardly seen when men have problems with each other that the women stop talking to each other. The women hardly stop talking to each other. I've hardly seen that. The women will remain friends with the wife of the homie that your husband has a problem with.
That's
Why is that?
toxic. Because they're toxic. I'm sorry. If my husband has a problem with somebody,
Right.
and let's say that person is married, and let's say I'm cool with that person's wife, but I only know that person's wife because my husband introduced me to them. I only know both people because my husband introduced me to them. So if my husband has a problem with one, okay, for me, I automatically have a problem with both.
Right.
That's it. It's
I don't
done.
like if I got a problem with your husband, I got
That's
a
it.
problem with you too now.
That's it. Oh,
I don't
it's
have
not.
to have a personal problem.
Yeah,
with
not a
you,
personal problem, but that's it.
I'm
Like,
not
the
going to
relationship is done.
Yes, I'm not going to
That's it.
associate with you
Yeah.
over the fact that you.
And that's another thing. I find that to be that's something that irks me. And people are always gonna be like, "Oh, you can't control what people do." Like, shut the fuck up. If I introduce you to somebody and you know that person because of me, and we're cool, like we're very. I'm not talking. I just met you yesterday. I'm talking. I have years and years and years with you, and all of a sudden I have a falling out with that person, and you continue to be friends with them.
That's a topic for another day. I'm telling you.
Oh my God.
I could talk about it for the next 96 hours. But you got to
But no, I've
understand.
seen that in marriages though too.
No,
Like, that's
it
exactly
happens-
what you were
it
talking
happens.
about.
So we could go back to home records at that point, right? Because guess what? I ain't got to. If I have an ex and I know her for 30 years, and now we still, exes, I can't stop talking to this person. I've known her 30 years.
What you mean you can't stop talking to her?
I mean, if the person hits me up, that's my family technically, right?
No,
Like
it's
30
not.
years. What do you
No,
mean?
it's not.
What do you mean?
That's not your family.
I've had a relationship with them for 30 years.
So people get married to their cousins, get divorced, and never speak to them again. That's literally their family.
Yeah, those are people that are passport bros.
Doesn't matter. That's their blood. They'll stop talking.
I don't know about all that.
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
You want to talk about it?
I just did. There's
You
people
want to
that
give us?
married their
You want to give us
cousins.
an instance?
There's people. I'm not going to take names, but there's people
No,
that
we don't ask you to take.
yeah. There's
names.
people that marry their cousins, but when they know that that's it. Like, they get divorced for whatever the reasons are, they will avoid going to the same family functions. And I don't blame them, because I'm sorry, this is all about getting healthy and having a better mindset. Mental health in itself is very important for those that value it. And I really think a lot of people don't. That's why they're stuck in their miserable little bubble and they do the dumb shit they do. If you truly, and that's part about self-love. Real self-love is caring about your mental health. If I know that if I go down this road, I'm going to see 10 people I don't like, but it's a shorter route for me. But I know if I go to the parallel road around the block, it may take me an extra 5 minutes, but I'm not going to see anybody and my day is going to go amazing. I'm going to take the longer route because I want to get better. I don't want that toxicity in my life.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of people don't do that. Hence the home wreckers, hence the bad friends, and all this shit happens. It's all about your individual mindset, and then yes, the mindset of the people you surround yourself with.
But what if you're like just a naturally bubbly, loving, caring person, an extroverted person that likes to have a good energy around them and good
Yeah,
conversations
but
with
you're not
people?
gonna have good energy and good conversation with toxic individuals.
How do you know somebody's toxic if you just met
You
them?
could tell. You could tell.
How?
They usually have this invisible but very visible red flag over their head. You can see it. If
Is it?
you are actually
You can
looking
see the
for it,
devil's horns.
not that I'm okay. Don't insult the devil. I'm sorry. These
What do
people,
you
no, no,
mean?
no. Don't insult the devil like that. I just say red flag.
But you would say that that's the devil's doing if you're a believer in God and the
No, I don't
Bible.
feel like it's the devil's doing. I feel like that's
It's the devil whispering in their ear.
no. I feel like if
What
I
do you
if I
mean?
can see someone's red flag, I feel like that's a blessing from God for me that I'm able to see their red flag. Yeah, people are gonna think I'm crazy because not everyone is gonna agree with you. But you know, like when you're right about somebody and everyone else is like, oh no, they're great, they're great, they're great, and then everyone else starts saying that you were right about them. That's usually what
Yeah,
happens.
but usually people don't admit when you were right about a person until
And they
until
get fucked over by the
they
same person.
actually get fucked over by that person too. And that's another piece of the puzzle in home wreckers. People will come and line up at your door. You know what they say? My enemy's enemy is my enemy, right? I mean, my enemy's enemy is my friend.
That's
Sorry.
yeah.
So if I know XYZ don't like you, right? And I'm friends with XYZ at the moment. I don't like you because XYZ constantly
In your
yapping in
ear.
my
Yeah.
ear. Blah, 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 blah. 6 months fast forward. XYZ and I get into a problem. I'm like, oh, that's fucked up. XYZ shouldn't have done that to me. And then I'm scrolling on socials one day and I'm like, oh shit. ABC got a problem with XYZ too. I didn't really have a problem with ABC. I just believed whatever XYZ told me. Ah, I like them. They're cool. Next time I'm going to make it my mission to somehow associate myself with you if I see you. I'm going to come to you with open arms, open heart, not an open mind, but a huge smile on my face.
People do that.
And you're going to be accepting of that when I sit there and tell you my sob story of what happened with me and ABC,
I agree.
right? And then you are gonna be like, oh, damn, you hate that bitch Susie. I fucking told you. And I'm gonna be like, yeah, you were so right, man. I should have believed you. People go through it. And now you and I are gonna become tea besties because you and I have a common enemy now. So what just happened?
A lot of toxic bullshit.
Exactly my point.
But
If
again,
those people can't tell you in the beginning and they let somebody's words affect their decisions and their feelings towards you, when they come back to you, you should definitely entertain them.
yeah.
Because guess what? The moment now you should know that the moment they falter with you,
Mhm.
they're gonna go look for another enemy of
Yeah, this
yours.
just it's a lot of homie hopping that happens. They literally go from one person
It's
to
like
another.
hookah lounges, right? Every 3 months is a new hookah lounge that's popping. Every 3 months is a new homie that's popping. Now you go back to from January to March, it might be igloo. From April to June, it might be a canoe hookah lounge. I'm not gonna name hookah lounge.
No, we don't
I
do
want
that.
to put people out there like
No.
that. But igloo canoe, and then from June to September, you go from igloo canoe to riverbed lounge, and then from September to December, it's you know
Before you get into that detail, have you ever been accused of being a homewrecker?
who me?
No, the person behind you.
Fuck no, man. I don't wreck no homes. Homes wreck me.
That got dark.
Hey, real quick. I'm just saying, I'm the bad guy in everybody's equation, and
Yeah.
I'm proud of it now. Before I used to wonder why people think I'm bad, but now I just realize that the level of perception is just that small
Mm.
that they can't seem to accept that this person might just not be the one doing it. Because a lot of times, we'll go to a certain word, a narcissistic sociopath. A narcissistic sociopath, if you know by definition, will manipulate and make people believe that they never did no wrong. Meanwhile, they've been pulling the strings all along. And then they
Mm-hmm.
put up this sob innocent face trying to showcase that they were right and never the wrong one. And the person that was the wrong one was me.
Yep.
Right? And then for years and months and whatever, people believe that, hey, Dr. Billz is an asshole. Dr. Billz is
Dr. Billz is
manipulative.
an asshole.
Dr. Billz is so wrong.
Yeah.
But
He's
then little by
terrible.
little by little, one thing that I've learned in life is it might not happen in a day.
Yeah.
It might not happen in 6 months. But little tidbits will start showing themselves of the person that's the narcissist, right? Like you open your eyes wide,
Mhm.
like holy shit. But what the problem in today's world is, all these people will realize
Mhm.
that this person wasn't wrong, but they won't ever admit it to
No,
them.
they won't.
They'll
That's
just come back around and act like nothing happened.
yeah. So rarely is it ever gonna get admitted, and even but that's another thing. So if they were to come back around, what do you do? Me personally, I'd say
I welcome them
go.
with open arms. I'm
No,
like, I
no,
missed you guys. Come back. I love
no,
you.
no, 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 no. We don't do
What do you mean? I'm a forgiving person.
that. I'm not.
I'm a very forgiving person.
I'm not.
I'm Muslim. Muslims, you should be
That,
forgiving.
that, 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 that.
What?
No,
You
no,
should
no,
be
no. It's
forgiving
in
as a Muslim. You
it's
should be
in
forgiving.
Islam. You are not. It's not mandatory to forgive. It is not mandatory to forgive.
In Islam, it's also said that when your account comes to me,
Hmm.
I'll forgive you for everything except the things that you haven't been forgiven to you by the people that you have wronged in your life. That's why in Islam, you should ask for forgiveness. In Islam, you should be forgiving because if you want mercy from the Creator, you should be showing mercy in this world.
It gets to that point where it's also said like, oh, you should ask for forgiveness, and you should forgive them so that you don't have to see them on the day of judgment. But you know what? I want them to come in front of me.
You want to go ready to rumble?
I want them to come in front of me. It's fine, cool. The minute I read and I learned like, oh, I don't have to forgive them. Fuck them all. I'm good. I will forget about them. I will gladly forget about them. I will not forget what they did to me. But I'm
Nobody
not going to
tells you to
forgive
forget
them.
what they did, but forgiving is part of Islam.
It's not mandatory.
But if you want your Lord to show you, because you don't know.
I will see what
Hold
I
on.
do is I'm not gonna forgive, but
Okay,
I do pray for them. You're
okay,
gonna
time
laugh
out.
at this. I do pray for
Time
them
out.
though.
Time out. Let's fast forward millennia, and now it's a judgment day, and God is in front of you, and you're in front of God, right?
Scary
And
thought.
God, of course, right? It's a scary thought. Now God pulls out your book of good and bad.
Yeah.
Good. We'll X this out. We'll X this out. We'll X this out. We'll X this out. Now all your good deeds are gone,
Mm.
right? The only couple of bad deeds that are left that could have been washed off if you forgave three people in your life. Because you hadn't forgiven those three people, your burden of sins is stronger, let's just say, for some reason.
No,
Hold
I'm
on.
not gonna be.
I'm just saying.
I'm
Now
not
you
getting a
ask,
sin for not forgiving.
no. But now you ask God to forgive you for those sins.
Mm.
Let's just say. God in return questions you and says, I would love to forgive you, but let me ask you something. Did you forgive my creation when they wronged you?
Uh,
Oh, mic drop.
no, no. But that's the thing. It's not mandatory to forgive. Number one. Number two. What I do, me personally, I can't speak for everybody. What I do, and God is my witness, because I do it on a daily, because it's something that also brings me peace. Because I hope one day it does come true. I do pray for people I don't like. I pray for them to become better people. Because the better people that they become, the further away from me they're going to continue to be. And I want that for them.
But the fact that you could pray for them
Yeah,
should also mean that you can forgive them.
I'm not there yet.
But you pray for them. You only pray for people you love.
No. I pray for my enemies too.
Yeah, because you love them.
No. I don't love my enemies.
I don't pray for anybody I don't love.
No. I'll pray for roadkill when I see it on the road, and I'll start reading a dua like, oh my God, like I see a dead
You know what
raccoon.
that shows me? That just shows me that you actually have a soft and kind heart.
I do.
And because you have a soft and kind heart, you should have a forgiving heart.
You know.
Doesn't mean you forget. Don't get it twisted.
No, I know.
Doesn't mean you forget what ABC did to you.
Mhm.
What that means is just you're a better person, you forgive them, and you move on with your life. So on the day of judgment, they don't get held back because you didn't forgive them.
That's a them problem. They shouldn't have done what they did to me. I don't need to forgive them. I can move on with my life. I can live a happy life, a content life, a good life. I'm good. They did their fuckery.
Sounds like somebody been trying to wreck your home.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What happened to your voice all of a sudden?
No, see,
You
people
lost
are.
your voice?
No, absolutely not.
Raise it then.
I have found it.
You have found your
I
voice
have found it.
on the Anti-Bakwas
Yes.
podcast.
No, people have tried. I'm not gonna lie. People have tried to throw a lot of stones, but they forget that they
What's
live
the
in
worst
glass
thing you
houses.
heard? What's the worst stone that was thrown at you? Let's make it interesting real quick.
Let's see. I've been accused of being a homewrecker.
You've been accused of being a homewrecker?
Yeah, apparently I stole my husband from the person.
I mean, you technically did.
I did not.
Yes, you did. You stole your husband and you married him
Well, what did I steal
from the
him
world. He could have had, or you could have had, each one of you could have had, y'all both stole each other. That's what I'm trying to say. Because if he was still single, the possibilities were endless. If you were still single, the possibilities were endless, right? But the fact that you stole him and he stole you and y'all said, F it, we're getting married. Y'all stole each other and just ran away and got married.
Yeah, we ran away.
Not not like that. You know what I mean? You know what I
No,
mean?
so I've been accused of that. I've been accused of oh, I was accused of trapping my husband. That's how I got him to marry me.
How'd you trap him?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out.
I might have to ask your husband, yo,
You
how
could
she
ask
trapped
him.
you.
Like we both look at each other when we hear this shit and we're like, really? So then we joke about it. I'm like if let's say he's doing something I don't like, or let's say no, I'm sorry, if he does something I really really like, because he rarely does stuff I don't like. He's wonderful.
Oh
So,
wow. Ladies, take notes. You gotta you
they'll
gotta
take
put your man
notes.
up. You
They.
gotta put your man up. You gotta always talk nice about him.
I got a lot of people that are taking notes from my book. They won't learn.
Imagine the people that don't take notes from this podcast.
I hope they learn. I hope they become better.
They're not going to.
They're not.
I'm just saying.
But no, so let's say he'll do certain things, and it's like, when someone does something that you really like, or something that makes you happy, you, at least for me, like, I want to do more for them, right? I want to make them even happier. You made me happy, you put a smile on my
Right.
face. I want to make you even happier. So then, like, when that happens, I
Yo,
look.
what factory they made you at?
Yeah, they discontinued.
It was like Charmin Ultra. Discontinue. It's too
So
good to be true.
so no, so then we'll joke about it, and I'm like, oh, remember? And so I'll do something. I'll be like, so this is how I tracked you to marry me, all right? So we'll joke about it now, because before it was like, what the fuck? But between being called a homewrecker, stealing him from someone to get him to marry me, trapping him to get him to marry me, faking an illness to get him to marry me.
Was it mental?
No, yeah, unfortunately not.
Oh
But yeah, I
damn.
faked an illness. A lot of shots were thrown at me from people that I didn't expect them to be thrown at me from. People that I considered my chosen family, for like that's the best way I could describe them. But those people, they tried very hard, and I know that they regret what they said. Again, like you said, they're never going to admit it. But I see the life that they're living, and I'm like, that's their punishment.
So how about this? Why don't you tell our audience over here? I'm pretty
Hi.
sure people could relate, right? I'm pretty sure y'all want to know from Kina how she did to, or how or what did she do to combat that kind of emotional drama or distress that was coming her way. So how'd you and your husband make in situations like that? How did you guys combat those situations?
Well, it started with it was a lot of arguments, not
Right.
gonna lie. Initially it was because it was like, him or me both not wanting to accept that this stuff was being said from the people that it was being said by. Because you don't want to. You're like, wait, so what the hell's happening? So first there was denial, then came acceptance of it, then it came getting constantly annoyed about everything happening. And then me and my husband both, I think we're very reformed, chaotic
Desis?
people.
Oh, reformed chaotic people.
Yeah. There's a lot of work that we've both done individually on ourselves, separate from way before we were married, and I feel like we both lived a certain life where we did not give a fuck about anybody. I can definitely speak for myself. I've done shit to people, and I never cared about what the aftermath was, right? But I dealt with that karma. I paid the price for it. So it's like you don't want to revert into your crazy ways because people are trying to provoke you for that, and they also don't know that side of you. So me and him both, that was something we had to work on a lot, because we knew that if the right buttons were pushed, we were both going to not, and it wasn't going to end well for us.
I heard something on TikTok earlier today, and it said if you meet a person that tells you, dude, if you would have met me 10 years ago, I would have responded completely differently, believe them.
Yeah,
You don't want to revert to that person
you don't.
because when they're telling you that, it's for a reason.
Hmm.
So if somebody tells you, hey, if you would have met me 10 years ago and I would have responded differently, believe them when they tell you that because you don't know what kind of cycle is hiding in that head from 10 years ago. And he's just holding himself caged up because if that cage gets loose or broken, then you're going to be begging for mercy,
Yeah, pretty
right?
much. So me and my husband both are those types of personalities. And, alhamdulillah, we were able to be together. And even though we have that similarity within us, we also have a certain kind of peace that we try to hold on to. So when all the shit was going on and still going on, we argued, but we were very transparent with each other. I think that was another thing. There was sometimes, and I'm not gonna lie, there was sometimes like you don't always want to remind your husband or your wife about an ex because you
Right,
don't want them going back into that because they've been through a certain set of trauma with that relationship as
right.
well. But we had to do that.
All right, so let me flip the script real quick since we're talking about homewreckers. Um, I'm going to flip the script to let's say you were in a relationship with somebody. You were madly in love. He was madly in love. Let's just keep it at that with no quotations.
That's fine.
and for whatever reason, you and him didn't end up going long term, working out, getting married, let's just say, and you were not okay with the relationship ending. Let's say you weren't ready for the relationship to end,
Mm-hmm.
and he just ups and leaves, goes to Pakistan or India or Bangladesh or wherever he goes to,
Did you find a
comes back,
cousin?
comes back, comes back married,
Okay.
right? Comes back married. Let's say you bump into him or y'all get into contact or
Mm-hmm.
whatever the
Mm-hmm.
case might be. What are you doing at that moment? Because you weren't ready to let go of that relationship. What I'm basically doing is putting you in the shoes of a quote unquote home wrecker. Because that's where a lot of this home wrecking shit comes
Mm-hmm.
from, right? It's an ex that isn't happy with the decision they made,
Mm-hmm.
and they somehow, some shape or form, want their guy back or
Mm-hmm.
girl back now.
Mm-hmm.
How do you operate when you still, let's just say, feel strongly for that person that walked away from you?
Personally, I will wish him well and walk away. The
Let's see.
reason for that is I'm a firm believer in karma or kafara, however you want to
Right.
word it. I have siblings. If I know, let's say I am madly in love with this person, or I was at one point, but I know that they are married to someone. Granted, I don't owe the person that they're married to any fucking loyalty, but because I'm a human being, and because that's just common fucking courtesy and consideration, and especially if you are God fearing, regardless of how how religious you are or what religion you are not going to want to do to someone what you wouldn't want done to yourself.
It's easier said than done. Emotions play a big part.
I
You
completely
can
agree.
become vulnerable to the person again.
You know what? I agree to that, but it's if you put yourself in that situation. You're asking what I would do, right? Literally, if I
Yeah, but I'm playing
some
the devil's advocate
yeah,
by
but
telling
I feel
you.
like but that's the thing. You need to have control of your nafs, right? Of yourself. If you don't have control of
But
that, then you're gonna
we
constantly.
can. I'm pretty sure we can agree that a lot of people don't have
They
control.
don't. They
They
don't.
don't have the emotional intelligence
They don't.
to keep themselves in check when they see an old flame or a flame that they still want lit because it's dimmed now or blown out.
I'm sorry if I don't understand that. Like if something is taken away from me or it's gone or whatever the case is,
No,
I
you
don't
made
want
the
it
conscious
back.
decision to leave.
Okay, let's say I left, whatever the case, I don't want it back. Like if I throw something in the fucking trash, I'm not gonna go in the trash and pick it up. I'm not a fucking raccoon.
Sometimes you might throw the wrong
There's a
thing in
lot
the
of
trash.
raccoons.
No, but sometimes you throw the wrong thing in the trash. You're like, yo, where's the baby's pacifier? Oh shit, it's in the trash. Guess what? You're a raccoon
No, I'm gonna go buy a new one.
at the moment.
No,
That's a bunch of bullshit.
it's not bullshit.
It's
I'm
a
not gonna.
bunch of
No,
bullshit.
it's
If
not.
it's 3 in the morning and you accidentally threw that pacifier in the garbage and now your baby won't stop, you know you need that pacifier. You're gonna pick that motherfucker out. You're
No.
gonna go take it to the sink. You're gonna bleach it, wash it, Ajax powder it, do
No.
everything you need to do, desanitize it, and be like, here, baby, shut up.
No, no, no. There's other ways to shut a baby up.
Okay.
Um, but that's the thing. Like if you see someone from your past that comes, you're allowed to see them. You're allowed to have feelings. You're allowed to have that moment. You're human. But to act on it in a way that you know is not only gonna hurt you afterwards, but it's also gonna hurt the other person in that person's life. You may not owe that other person's significant other any kind of loyalty. But as a human being, you owe it to yourself and you owe it to the God that you respect and you worship and you do everything. You have to think about it that way. People don't think about it that way. Everyone wants to post, oh, I'm religious. I did these many umrahs. I did this much hajj. I do this. I do that. No one follows it. Everyone shows it. Everyone talks about it. No one lives it. If you are not living it, you are always going to fuck up.
Right.
I am not the most religious person, but there's
So
certain things that I hold dear to me. So
what
if I saw that, I'd walk away. I'd
what
probably go eat a whole tub of ice cream, but I would walk away.
so I think we're pretty much getting near the end of this episode for today. Before
We're
we
not.
leave,
There's still so much to say about homewreckers, though. Like, what the hell
that's
do
what I was
you
gonna tell
do?
you. What advice do you want to give people on how to operate with homewreckers?
If
One.
you see them, it's on site. Rock their shit.
No,
No,
no, do
that's what we
not
don't
rock.
do.
You don't do that shit. You don't punch somebody in the face because that's
Punch
just
them in the face. You just
because that's
uppercut them.
what's gonna happen is open up a can of worms legally for you.
Claim self-defense.
On what?
I'm mentally stressed.
Of what?
White people do it.
That's you're not white, sweetie. That's one thing you're not. You're
I
not
can
white.
identify as white.
You're not white.
I could identify. It's
You
2023.
cannot identify as a damn raccoon if even if you wanted
I
to.
can identify
You
as
can
it.
only listen. That's a whole different topic. right? We're not getting into that topic right now. That's a whole that topic gonna get us canceled before we can even say air special, please,
You want it to be
right?
controversial. This is how
Yeah, I
you become
mean,
controversial.
I can be controversial on that
That's it.
topic.
I can claim my mental health has been impaired because this person was harassing me, and therefore I swung unconsciously. It just happened to land
Are you
across their
Draymond
jaw.
Green now? You
That's
just
it.
swinging?
I have like a psychotic hand. It has a mind of its own. Just
That sounds like you have Tourette's.
yeah,
I have no control over my
I have no
actions.
control.
When I smell bullshit, they just swing.
Just backhand, backhand, done.
But back to the home wreckers, right? Since I guess we're not over that right now. What is it? I feel like there's something in your mind, something very specific. Like, do y'all feel that way? Like, there's something specific in this woman's mind, right? Is there something specific in your mind that you want to let off about home wreckers? Go. You got it.
I got it. I feel like homewreckers really need to self reflect. I think they need to take time to actually become the person that they post to be online, and they claim that they are in front of people, because no matter what, the mask is going to come off. It always comes off, whether people want to accept it or not. And there's only so much you can do. Like, if you are fucking with someone and you are trying to mess with their life, God is going to give them the opportunity to come in front of you. And I know I've come across specific individuals many a times, and they always look like they shit on themselves. And I know that. I have a kid. I know the poop face. So
She know the poop face.
yeah, I do. So it's like, if you're gonna, if you want to live that way, live that way. You want to live the life of a coward, by all means go for it, because I feel like that's what homewreckers are. You're cowards. I wasn't raised
In
to be
other
a
words,
coward.
you're fucking pussies.
Yeah, I wasn't raised to be a coward. I have backbone, and I live by that. There's a sense of integrity I want to live by. I want to be able to live with my head not up high, but just
But
at.
don't you think you deserve to be at peace in your mind by not giving it any even a fucking shred of attention?
That takes a little time to get to. Like right now where I'm at, I wasn't like this before. It took me a little time to be able to become peaceful and joke about it, because it fucks with you. You're human.
Right.
All right. It
But
does matter, especially when you're like,
it's
I
mind
didn't
over
do.
matter though.
I understand that, but you know what? Sometimes it really does matter, because you're like, yo, I haven't done anything to you. Why are you attacking me? If
But
I did something to you, cool, come for me. No
but
problem.
if you know that you haven't done nothing to XYZ person, right? Then that should mean even more of a reason after one or two times that, hey, the more fuel I give this, the bigger the fire gets.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I hate that saying. I hate everyone trying to tell the person that's being affected by it, like, yo, be the bigger person, ignore it,
Nobody's
do
telling you
this,
to be
do
the
that.
bigger
A
person.
lot of people are
All
doing
I'm
that.
all I'm saying is, if you're in a situation like that and you know you and your man's is solid, there's nothing else that should worry you.
Yeah, I know, but how about if you constantly have to hear something about your spouse, like literally almost every other day or every other week, you're hearing shit. Granted, you're gonna say,
Are they
"Oh,
saying it to your face?
but I know that I knew that's what you were gonna say." So, regardless of the fact whether they're saying it to your face or not, when you have to hear stuff nonstop, it gets to you. It will break a person down. That's human nature. And then
Here's something I'm
afterwards,
gonna
you
tell you
then
something.
kind of
Here's something I'm gonna
you
tell
get
you.
better.
So we look at celebrities, right?
Mm-hmm.
Basketball players, singers, rappers, actors. Every day, every day, there's a bunch of shitheads that talk shit about them, right?
Yeah, but they wipe
But,
their tears with like $100 bills. If I was doing that, I'd be fine.
yeah, but
I
you
mean,
can
talk whatever you want.
no, but that's my point. Like negativity is always gonna be there. There's gonna be somebody talking smack about me and you in this podcast, right?
Which is
Right.
fine.
But now, if I fuel that by responding to that, the only thing that's gonna give them is a platform to do it even more.
Trust me, I get that. And I respect it and I agree with it. But sometimes, and again, sometimes, you do have to respond. Unfortunately, you would think, okay, if I'm responding to this like shithead, they're going to stop. But because, like you mentioned earlier, we have keyboard warriors and we have like cowards, it doesn't stop. And then you have other people that are adding more fuel to the fire of, no, no, you're in the right. You're in the right. You're the victim, not them. When this is going on, it's very hard to get over. Because the minute you think you're over it, like I kid you not, there's been so many instances. Even this week alone, I'm like, all right, you know what? It's good. It's a brand new week. Everything is good. You know, we're gonna start this week off with a bang. You know, be thankful, be grateful, move forward. I get on my phone, I open up an app, and I'm like, oh, we're still doing this. I didn't respond. I left it alone.
But how are you able to see it so
But
frequently?
well, no, I like if someone's gonna be in your views, like you could see it. So when
Okay.
I see the views, and then this person wanted to like my shit too, I was like, oh, okay, we're moving one step forward. So what did I do? I took a screenshot, I saved it because I'm petty, and I told my husband, and he kind of just side eyed and went, ew. And I don't even know what we were watching. Oh, then I started talking to him about that Dubai Bling show because that shit's hilarious.
So here's what I got out of all of that. What I got out of all of that is that there's somebody out there that is being toxic towards you, but the only reason they're able to be toxic towards you is because you have allowed unintentionally or intentionally for them to have access to your brain. And what I mean by that, you're allowing them to, let's say for example, you had likes on a story, or you opened up your story and they were able to showcase to you that they viewed your story. Now, in the world of social media, there's privacy settings, and if you completely allow to not let
I
them
like
have
being public.
no,
I like
no.
being
See,
public.
see, there you go. So because of the fact that you
So
like to
why the fuck do
hold
I
on,
have to change my shit because
no,
other people are
because
obsessed?
it is your peace of mind that you have to worry about. In order to protect your peace, you shouldn't give people access to you.
No.
If you can't give them access to you in any remote way, they can't affect your peace.
But now it's comedy.
It's comedy because you want it to be comedy.
Yeah.
And for the audience, I'm telling them, if you don't want somebody to affect your mental peace, give them zero. I'm talking about zero leverage towards you by giving them access, by being public, or by allowing these kind of people to somehow, some way, shape, or form affect you daily. You said it's a new week, it's a Monday, and the first thing I saw was XY. You're allowing these people.
How am I allowing them?
I'm sorry.
Okay, so
Listen,
if I'm not putting my social media handles out, if I'm not doing any of that, but they're taking it upon themselves to find me, how is that my fault?
make your shit private.
Even if it's private.
Okay, here's the thing. They can find you, but they can't view you unless you add them.
No.
So if your shit is private, they can't view your shit other than
Why do I have to make my shit private?
Because you want to protect your mental peace.
But I'm not even posting anything.
But here's me going back to it's Monday morning, it's a new week, and I opened my views and they were right there. I'm trying to tell you, ladies, gentlemen, if you're going to let somebody into your mental, let them have real estate in your head. That's free real estate, bro. That's the most expensive real estate you can give somebody.
But I feel like
because
I'm the
you're
real estate in their head.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not viewing their shit.
No, because from what I see, from a third person perspective, they got a mansion in your damn head.
No.
You might have a mansion in theirs, but they are equally living in a big ass house in your head because Monday morning rolled around and you saw the goddamn views, and now your whole house is ringing, right?
Well, it was laughable though.
It's laughable, but that's what I'm trying to tell you, that home wreckers can be only home wreckers if, one, a man is constantly keeping in contact with that home
Or a
wrecker.
woman.
Or a woman. That's what I was going to get to. If your man or your guy is constantly giving access to an ex or a person of interest and is causing issues and friction within your marriage, and you ultimately don't want anything to do with them, or you're clean in your own mind, you're solid in your relationship, that person should have zero, and I'm talking about zero, access to you. And I'm sorry, but the fact that you like being public, you're allowing this person to affect your mental on a daily.
If I'm public, that's me.
But remember, when you have so here's the thing: when you have a public platform, you don't have to have 500 million followers to have a public platform. If your account is public, that means you are open to any criticism coming your way.
The
at that point.
criticism I don't mind.
Yeah,
but we're gonna get criticized on this.
No, we're not talking about criticism just with somebody talking shit to you. We're talking about the criticism you're talking about. They liked my shit. They went through my story. It's like you're looking for it.
I'm not looking for it. It's a notification. It's there. It pops up.
Exactly. My Monday morning. Let me have my chai and oh shit, this bitch like my shit. Hey, hubby.
No. But wait. See, that's the thing. It's not even the females that are doing it now. I have the guys doing it.
Well, that's
so
what
imagine that. So how would you feel about the guys being bitches though? And the guys being the home wreckers.
Listen, in today's world, men are the bitches.
They are.
Right? But here's the thing. Not all men. But here's the thing. Anybody, and I didn't just say a woman, I said anybody. The
majority of this is
anybody that can affect your peace of mind should not have access to you. And if you know you can be affected because they're on your socials, or they can see your socials, or they can react to your socials, they shouldn't have that kind of
But does
access.
this also apply in other situations? Because you're saying anyone that can affect your mental peace should not be in your life, should not have access to you. So what about if those people are your family members? What about if you have
we
toxic
live
parents,
we
toxic
we
siblings?
we
Then what?
live listen, we live in the 21st century, right? And for the most part, we're all grown adults. We're not 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. We're in our 30s, right?
Act like
or
it.
or we're in our 30s, right? Now, I'm not saying to go disrespect your parents or your
No.
family members, right? But if you know your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, somebody is toxic, because we see that in the brown culture always, where your wife, let's say I'm married, my wife and my sister might not get along, or my mother and my wife might not get along, right? That doesn't mean you disrespect your wife or your mother, or you disrespect your
No,
mother for your
absolutely
wife.
not. No.
What that means is you've come out with a mitigation technique, in a way, right? Where those two cannot affect you.
How?
How? You keep them at bay, both of them. You keep both of them at bay. I'm being
Separate
honest.
rooms.
I'm being honest. You keep both of them at bay. And how do you do that? What that means is, if you have to separate yourself from your family now, right? You have to move out. My wife and my mother do not get along. And before this, because what happens is it trickles down. Now, if you keep them in the same household, you're going to fight with your wife way more than you want to. Your wife is going to fight with you way more than you want to.
Agreed,
And
yeah.
your mother's going to sit there with the tears. "Tu to mera beta hai."
Yeah, it turns
Tu
into
mere
another
saath-
home wrecking situation.
It's a home
Yeah.
wrecking situation. So the best plan of action at that point is you remove yourself from that situation, right? Now back to being back
But
to
you see, that
back to
comes
friends.
with
Hold on,
comes
back
with
to friends.
the
Back to
different
friends.
route.
Okay, so back to friends.
Yeah.
Now, if you know your friends, your so-called friends, are now siding with this home wrecker, or the home wrecker is continuously fucking doing dumb shit towards you, you devise a plan. How do I not fuel this fire? The only way for me to not fuel this fire is to give zero access to this person and these friends towards my life. Either go private, right? Don't have the mantra of being a public figure and then not be able to put up with the criticism that comes with it. Because just remember, you can be the best person. Mother Teresa gets criticized.
She was
Guy
evil.
gets criticized. Gandhi gets criticized. We all know their doings, right? But everybody that was some kind of a figure of peace, the Dalai Lama gets criticized. This man sits on top of a goddamn mountain ringing a goddamn bell at times. He don't even speak to the world, and he gets criticized, right? So my point is, when you're a public platform, a public figure, you're going to get criticized.
Yeah.
And if this criticism of certain people that is affecting you and allowing them to have real estate in your head, because in some shape or form they are connected to you personally, you remove those people. You don't give them no access to you, because the one thing I could guarantee you, the moment you choose peace, that's the moment you'll start blocking everybody. You yourself haven't chosen peace yet.
Yeah.
No, you haven't. I promise you, you haven't.
Why is it suddenly about me? We're talking about
because-
homewreckers in general.
Yeah, but we're talking about a home wrecking situation, because I was asking you what's the worst things that happened to you.
It's not the worst though. These are the funny things I'm telling you about.
But that's what I'm trying to tell you, that in order, and not just for you, don't take it the wrong way before you beat me up over here. I'm not talking about just personally you. I'm talking about any individual, our viewers that are listening. Hey, if somebody is affecting your peace of mind,
I agree. Cut
and you
access.
don't want them.
Yeah.
It's very simple in today's world. You know why people weren't going around fighting 30 years ago? There was no social media.
They had wars.
No, I'm talking about fighting, like girls fighting girls or guys.
They fought.
Yeah, because they were in a personal circle. People that fought 30 years ago were in a circle that everybody knew everybody. And phone tag and three ways happened, right? But it wasn't like today where a chick
feel like
could
that
be,
was so much
no,
better,
But
though.
but a chick could be from Virginia and the dude from New York, or the dude could be from Toronto and the chick and another dude could be from New York, and they're having transcontinental beef all over social media. Am I wrong in that?
No, that happens. I feel like it was better 30 years ago though.
See, 30 years ago, you couldn't make a bandwagon of friends because everybody knows your business. Today, you can do that. That's where the whole
Multiple personalities, victim complexes, everything,
people
all the
start
fakeness,
coming,
yeah.
and that's where the rise of a narcissistic sociopath really actually happened. Because the moment I post I have a problem with XYZ, I got 17,000 people in my DMs, especially if I'm a woman.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm a woman and I say F guys, I'll get my DM flooded by 100 dudes DMing me like, babe, what's wrong? Right? And I'm a guy, I'll get flooded with DMs from dudes and girls like, yo, what's happening, homie? What's wrong? We gotta go fuck up. No, we don't gotta go fuck nobody up. I'm the dumbass that gave somebody the access to me.
Okay, wait. Off topic though, because again, I have to find comedy in this. The DM line. before I got married to my husband, that was something I told him. I'm like, yo, no one's ever slid into my DMs.
Your
He's
husband
like,
slid into your DMs?
well, he did it on purpose,
He slid into your DMs.
but we were getting married.
So the first person that slid into your DMs, you got married to him.
And that's how it happened. That's
And
how I
that's how it
trapped
happened.
him.
I was waiting for somebody to slide into my DMs. The
That's
moment
it.
he slid into my DMs, I married him.
That's how I trapped him. Like it was because I was having a conversation with him and he was telling me because he's had
You are the winner, man. You are the winner.
he's had plenty of people slide into his DMs. Very good looking guy. So yeah, it was hilarious where he did. I was talking to him. And I was like, yeah, that's never happened to me. He's like, oh, really? And as I'm talking to my phone, like I get the buzz. I'm like, yo, hold on a second. And I'm like, who the hell is DMing me? And I was like, oh. I was like, why would you
Your
ruin that
husband
for
did
me?
that?
Yeah, while I was on the phone.
That was a cute move.
Yeah, I know.
That was a cute move.
But I'm like, why would you do that to me? He's like, you said no one did it, so I did it. I
Because
was
you
like,
gotta understand, women love something they've never had before, which was that DM that got you, and now you're married to him.
I was marrying him before the DM.
Oh, you were?
Yeah. We already, like, the process had begun.
No. That DM made it official. It's like
Yes,
that Kabul
yes.
had, that Kabul had. You know what I'm saying? Until you said that Kabul had, you hadn't gotten a DM, right?
It was so funny. He actually said Kabul hai on our nikah. The imam kind of just looked at him.
Like, are you sure, bro? Somebody
Yeah, because
forcing you?
he had to say yes. He couldn't, but he did the filmi Kabul hai, which was cute, but he had to still say yes.
Yes.
Yeah. The imam got payback because he made me propose to him.
The mom made you propose?
Imam, yeah.
Yeah, the mom.
Well, no, he did. My husband wanted me to propose to him.
So how long you been dealing with homewreckers?
If I have to really talk about it, I've been dealing with homewreckers a lot because I've seen a lot of people go through it. And I've
No.
been
In your
there with
personal
him.
life.
No, that is my personal life. Like
No, like
people I care about,
personable
siblings.
to you, personable to your person.
I'd say a little over 2 years.
God damn. Close to 724 days. No, 36 days.
Yeah,
My math is a little off. I failed math in school.
it's all good.
But yeah, on that note, I think we should wrap it up for the anti-bakwas.
You're enjoying that.
Listen, I'm here for the thrills. I'm here for the controversy. That's what this show is about.
But
if we don't create controversy, we can't talk about the conversation topics that we actually want to talk about because every topic that we can talk about is controversial. Ain't nobody want to know how to make biryani. Go watch a cooking show, right? You don't have to talk about biryani. We don't have to talk about that. Actually, I had a whole last debate with somebody from Bangladesh the other day talking about their biryani is better than Pakistani biryani, and I just lost my shit. And they gave their reasonings for what, and I shut up.
Okay.
I was just like, no, still, my biryani is better than your biryani,
Well,
right?
I mean, I'm neutral. I'm not a biryani person.
I love biryani.
I'm a pulao person.
But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining in. I'm your host, Dr. Billz.
I'm obviously the problematic Kina.
There's a problematic child right here.
Child?
There's a problematic child.
Child.
Until next time. Thank you.
No. We're not saying goodbye now. Okay. All right. So apparently he wants to get
It's
his
a
ass
joke.
kicked on a
It's a
podcast.
joke.
Oh, it's a joke. You say.
See, look, it's a joke.
Oh,
See,
it's a joke.
See,
It's
look,
not a joke.
she's so emotional now. We know why she goes through what she goes through. I'm joking.
Oh, I can't wait for the cameras to turn off.
This is fun. Anyways, thank you guys. We love y'all. Thank you for tuning into the Anti-Bakwas podcast. Until next time.
Bye bye.
I'm about to kick you. No, it's a joke.